Immense, monumental, gargantuan. He was a 6-time NHL All-Star, a Norris Trophy winner and Stanley Cup champion. He was a colossal giant who looked more like he played basketball than he did hockey. He was a player who could not only skate and play with the best, but he could also fight with the meanest. A player whose tremendous reach and slapshot was only matched by his attitude. Standing at an overwhelming 6'9", 250 pounds, he's the tallest hockey player the world's ever known. Big Z, Zdeno Chara.
Chara, the big reach, what a huge pirouette, and the big man scores! An incredible move! 6'9", and he's a ballerina! Wow!
Zdeno Chara was born in Trenčín, Czechoslovakia on March 18, 1977. Dad was former Olympic wrestler Zdeno Chara, who taught young Zdeno to work hard, try his hardest, and always set a good example. And little did he know at the time, but these life lessons would make him into the success that he would later become. As a 16-year-old and only playing on Dukla Trenčín's third-string team, it appeared Chara's dreams of playing hockey were numbered. His friends were telling him to quit, and his coaches suggested he tried basketball instead, but Chara always knew hockey was his destiny. So his father told him that in order to play the game he loved, he would have to sacrifice everything. No more did he go to the movies with his friends, or the swimming pool, or to meet girls. He woke up at 5 in the morning every single day to train and improve his strength. He would take 300 wrist shots a day, and by the time he was 18, Chara had improved drastically as he earned a hockey license that allowed him to transfer to Sparta Prague of the Czech Republic. In the 1996 NHL entry draft, after being undrafted the year before, Chara was selected in the 3rd round with the 56th overall pick by the New York Islanders. The following season saw Chara arrive in North America as he played for the Prince George Cougars of the Western Hockey League before joining the Islanders system. During the 4 seasons in Long Island, Chara played primarily as a shutdown defensive defenseman, being deployed in very limited offensive situations. And then came the trade to Ottawa, as he became the centerpiece in the blockbuster trade that saw Alexei Yashin go the other way. The Senators knew Chara was a decent defensive defenseman, but surprisingly, he would go on to record 10 goals and 13 assists in his first season with the Sens, signaling to the hockey world that he had more in his arsenal. As he continued to improve his slapshot, Chara became essential to Ottawa's power play, and by the year 2003, he would mature into an elite two-way defenseman. Over the next few years, Chara's play would continue to improve as he received his first Norris Trophy nomination in 2004, the first of 6 in his career. In the summer of 2006, Chara couldn't agree to a new contract extension with the Ottawa Senators, and he walked into free agency with the other GMs drooling over him like a pack of hungry wolves. Chara would end up signing with the Boston Bruins, and he would be given the captaincy shortly after, with the task of leading the team, who was in the midst of a rebuild, to hopefully one day bring the cup back to Boston. He was dependable, as he was regularly relied upon to shut down the opposition's top scoring line. He was physical, as even the heaviest of heavyweights still weren't heavy enough to challenge him. He consistently used his size to his advantage, clearing out the front of the net on the penalty kill, and was even used as a net front presence on the power play. But perhaps most importantly, Zdeno Chara's growth mindset allowed him to improve year after year. He was never satisfied as he perpetually sought to improve his game. He may have started his career with a decent slapshot, but year by year through his hard work, he's made it into a lethal weapon. Blasting that rubber at 108 miles per hour, it's just not fair for whomever had to be in its way. It is said that Chara analyzed the game at an exceptional level. He's taken the time to study his opponent's tendencies, allowing him to know what they were going to do before they knew it themselves. Chara's continued dominance on the blue line coincided with the team's newfound success, and by the year 2009, after scoring 19 goals and 31 assists that season, he had finally captured his first Norris Trophy as the league's top defenseman. Years of exceptional play, coupled with winning the Norris Trophy, had made Chara a generational defenseman, and the best was yet to come. It is now the year 2011, and boy did a lot happen that year. In January, he would record his first and only hat-trick of his career, paying homage to Slovakian great Peter Bondra through his celebration. The Bruins would go on to win their division as they started the playoffs with home ice, yet the fans were cautiously optimistic as they were on the heels of 3 straight years in which their seasons have ended with Game 7 losses. But typically, every champion would have had to face adversity at some point, and the 2011 Boston Bruins were not the exception. Their first-round opponents were their hated rivals, the Montreal Canadiens. The games played against them all season long have been intense, where a line brawl including a goalie fight broke out in one of the games, and Chara had taken out Pacioretty in another. Just like the previous few years, the series would reach Game 7, but this time, and finally, the Bruins prevailed. The second round saw the Bruins face off against the Philadelphia Flyers, and if there was ever a team that was in their heads, the Flyers were it. In the conference semifinals just the previous year, the Bruins would take a commanding 3-0 series lead, but the Flyers would win 4 straight to complete the improbable comeback. As fate would have it, the Bruins would win the first 3 games this time around as well, and heading into Game 4, there was no way they were going to let history repeat itself. And after an emphatic 5-1 victory in which Chara played lights out, the Bruins had exercised their demons as they were off to round 3. In the Eastern Conference Finals, the Bruins faced off against the red-hot, high-octane Tampa Bay Lightning. Chara would continue to lead the blue line, and the series would go back and forth, culminating in a 1-0 Game 7 win to send the team from Massachusetts to the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time in Chara's career. The President's Trophy winning Vancouver Canucks stood in their way, and Chara was tasked with shutting down back-to-back reigning Art Ross Trophy recipients, the Sedin Twins. And Chara, who was on the ice every time the Twins were on, would limit them to a combined 5 points in the series. And with another Game 7 victory, the Bruins would capture its first Stanley Cup in 39 years, and Chara would become the first Slovakian captain to hoist it. Chara would lead the Bruins back to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2013 and 2019, but they would lose out to the Chicago Blackhawks and St. Louis Blues respectively. In 2020 and 2021, Chara would sign a couple of 1-year deals with the Washington Capitals and then the New York Islanders, returning to the team he once played for. More notably, it was during this previous season with the Islanders in which Chara passed Chris Chelios for the most games played by a defenseman. Currently, at the age of 45, Big Z is an unrestricted free agent, and fans are left debating whether he'll return for a 25th season. In the last game of this previous season, his teammates and the opposing Tampa Bay Lightning went to shake Chara's hand, a gesture typically reserved for the final game of a great career. Whether Chara will be back remains to be seen, but it's hard to argue his contributions to the game of hockey, and if he does end up retiring, I'd be expecting him to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame 3 years later. Zdeno Chara has had an illustrious career. Starting off with nobody but his dad believing in him, he's had to make sacrifices to carve out a path for himself. His parents taught him to be humble and show respect for others, and he's abided by those lessons throughout his career. Those who have met him all praise how kind he is, and it's not hard to see why. He's an athletic ambassador for Right to Play, a non-profit organization to help vulnerable children who are affected by war, poverty, and disease to have an opportunity to play sports. He also openly endorses the You Can Play initiative, which aims to eliminate homophobia in sports. Always working on how to improve himself, Chara's growth mindset was what separated him from the rest. He started with an average shot, but he's become the hardest shooter the NHL has ever known. He started as a physical defenseman who excelled at clearing the front of the net. but the game's become much faster with less clutching and grabbing, and he's improved his skating, allowing him to keep up with the speedier players. Just look at the Spinorama goal he scored in 2013. That skating, that control, that poise. He wasn't just a pretty face. And it is with this in which we should take a lesson from Zdeno Chara. Most of us go to school as kids, graduate high school, and perhaps complete college or university. Then we're done learning, right? Chara believes in the need to continuously better himself. He's taken the time to learn 7 languages just because he might need it one day. At the age of 31, he trained for and climbed Mount Kilimanjaro with Robin Regier. Furthermore, in 2014, when he succumbed to an injury that kept him sidelined, a 37-year-old Chara decided to study and earn a real estate license. At the age of 40, he created an Instagram account, and he's actively posting to this very day. Zdeno Chara has shown us he can be a lifelong learner, and if you have the same type of attitude, even if you're not quite as large as him, you can still live larger than life. Thank you. Bye.